For more on topics around the sports world that need some commentary, we bring in Damien Barling, co-host of D-Lo and KC on ESPN 1320. And Damien, let's start with the San Francisco Giants. They are in the driver's seat for the NL West title right now, but we have a lot of baseball to play. If they were to wind up in that one-game wild card, who are you throwing out there to start that game? I've heard Logan Webb quite a bit. Who are you going with?
No, I'm probably going with Gausman. I still think Gausman is your best pitcher. There's probably a lineup situation where you can go with Logan Webb, or maybe depending on how the next, what are we at now, 26, 27 games left. Maybe you change your mind. But I still think Gausman is the guy that you go with. I mean, I think he's 12-5 on the season. He seems to have slowed down here a little bit. Anything will be better than what they did in this series against the Dodgers. I mean, I'm glad they won it. But
and it worked. It worked.
Yeah, I don't want to do that in a one-off scenario, but yeah, it worked. But let's not tempt fate too much more often.
Yeah, it worked in one of the games. It didn't work as well Saturday night.
Right.
Giants are in the postseason regardless of what happens. The Athletics now have some serious work to do. They're 4 games back of the Red Sox. Is it over for Oakland?
Man, it's hard to not feel like it is. This was just a disastrous series against the Blue Jays, and you're competing with the Blue Jays as well for that spot, for that one of those wild card spots. So it's tough coming out of this series not thinking, yeah, that's a wrap. It's really difficult. I can't see them getting together. I know Melvin disagrees. I know Bob Melvin disagrees, saying the best part of their season's still ahead. It's really tough to feel like that after this sweep by the Blue Jays.
Yeah, they need another one of those win streaks that they had to start the season. Fortunately, they have some winnable games coming up, starting with the Rangers, but that's after you have 3 against the White Sox. You get swept against the White Sox, and this thing is done.
The
49ers added depth in their secondary today, signing 33-year-old former All-Pro Josh Norman. Would have been a massive sign in 2015. How about today? Is it a big move?
No. But it works. I'm good with it. They needed some depth at that position. I know that's a position that a lot of 49er fans are a little uneasy with. If anything happens to Emmanuel Mosley or Jason Verrett, you're just, you're a hope and a prayer with that secondary. So I like it. And I like the spot for him. I like it, just adding depth and maybe even situational plays. He's in there. I'm okay with it. I like it. And I think it's a good presence in that room too, because he was one of the game's great corners.
Bring in talent, bring in a veteran. He knows what he's doing, so always rubs off on the young guys in a positive light. Lastly, 2 coaches at Power 5 schools that are clearly on the hot seat right now. Former 49ers and Stanford head coach Jim Harbaugh, who hasn't made a playoff at Michigan. He's lost 4 straight bowl games. They were awful last year. The other coach is David Shaw, who followed up Harbaugh at Stanford and continued to raise the bar. All of a sudden, progress is stalled. Who's in more trouble?
It feels like Michigan has no concerns over Harbaugh, which is weird. The answer is David Shaw. David Shaw, the Stanford has been equipped in years to compete with the big boys and to compete in these big bowl games. And like clockwork, late in the season, they would lose a game that completely wiped out their opportunity to be in one of those big bowl games. Now it feels like they're not even building up suspense anymore. Obviously, with the loss yesterday to Kansas State, where it looked like they weren't even ready to play, that's tough. Now, David Shaw being fired, it just feels inconceivable. I really do believe he's a great coach. It feels like this program is heading in the wrong direction, but I also got to keep in mind, and I think we got to keep in mind, Charlie, this has been an interesting couple of years. It's been a difficult couple of years, I think, for college, I think for recruiting. But, man, it's hard to feel like this Stanford program isn't going in the right direction right now.
Yeah, the COVID year didn't help out. They were 4-2 last year, and people forget that they were pretty competitive in the Pac-12 because of the year before and then the recency bias of that shellacking against Kansas State. As always, thanks for joining, my friend. Be well.
Likewise. Appreciate you, Charlie.